talking to myself for the last 35 minutes. Crazy. If you can even hear me, that's great. Like I said, I'm not in my office. I want to do these chats during the day because people are at work. Well, let's see. I'm going to get on here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Got any questions? Ask. Nope. People jump in, they jump out. Hey, what's up, Rascal? How you doing, brother? I'm new to this whole live streaming thing, so I'm sitting here talking to myself for the last 40 minutes. And I'm not in my office, so I don't even know how. If you can you hear me? Yeah, I thought I'd change it up. Everybody's asleep. All my kids are sleeping, so great. Thank you. Yeah, it's I'm doing it from my laptop. I'm not in my office with my mic and all that, so I wasn't sure if anybody could hear me from the webcam mic. Yeah, the community post. Hey, I appreciate that, Rascal. Appreciate it. Yeah, I see people drop in, then they drop right back out. Nobody interacts. A lot of people comment on my videos. They want to chat on there, and then I just figured out, you know what? Ask me some questions, get to know me. Because some people get the wrong idea. They see my name, my channel name, and but they don't know. They don't have a clue. I appreciate that though. Respect. Give you much respect for that. Yeah, I was surprised you didn't go on. I didn't see you on tonight because I usually jump in on your lives and watch your lives. Yeah, I know it was kind of late. It was a little risky, but you just never know the right time. Like during the day, people's at work. I mean, I'm retired, so I'm not at work during the day, so I could do lives all day while my kids are in school. But me, I'm a late person. I usually stay up till like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, my son tells me, Dad, you just got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it. Yeah, I'll try that. Maybe tomorrow I'll try that. So I've got nothing going on tomorrow. Today was a busy day, but tomorrow I don't have anything going on. I appreciate the help for sure. Yeah, yeah. I was looking for your live. I figured you'd be live tonight. I didn't see anything, so I don't like to jump in when everybody else has got a live going on because 100% sure then not going to get anybody watching or jumping in on the live. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you because I used to live in Reno. I lived in Reno and then I actually worked in Reno. Yeah, you still healing up? Hope you're doing good, brother. I used to live in Reno and then I lived in Fallon. I don't know if you know where Fallon's at. It's about an hour east of Reno. Oh, are you in Fernley? Shit, then you're just right down the road from Fallon. Yeah, I used to work in Reno and drive. Well, I lived in Reno for a minute and then I moved out to Fallon and I lived there for about what 7 years, 8 years, and I used to drive to Reno hour every to work. I used to work 12-hour shifts, 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. Uh, but I only had to work 3 12s. Then I was off four. But I left there in 2018. That's crazy that you're in Fernley. I still have family and friends that live in Fallon. Nah, I actually worked patrol for Reno um, before I retired. No, I'm not a PO anymore. I'm retired. I've been retired for a minute. Took a medical retirement, but done a lot of different jobs in law enforcement. I was an investigator. I don't know if you guys caught that. County. I worked county. Felony, felony probation officer. Nice. Yeah, I was when I very first started, I'm 55 years old, so I grew up in the 70s and the 80s. You know what made me get in the field? Uh I was never in a million years thought, growing up in Salinas my whole life until I got in a bunch of trouble. And then when I got out, I thought, that was that's not something that even crossed my mind about working in that field. But my dad lived in Ohio. So I bounced to Ohio and a friend of mine, like I went to my dad's a couple summers. I would go in the summertime and I had a stepbrother that was a year younger than me. Thanks, appreciate that. Yeah, I'm 55, man, born in '69. Uh, Watsonville. Crazy. Yeah, I was born and raised in Salinas. Born and raised in Salinas, north side. But my whole family on my mom's side of the family's from Watsonville. They've all done passed, but now most of all my relatives that lived in Watsonville. You work Monterey County probation. Gotcha. But yeah, I just never thought in a million years I would get into that. And a friend of mine that I met in Ohio, when I got done doing, I had to get out of Salinas though. I was being born and raised there. I got into a lot of shit, got locked up, and when I got out, I left and went to Ohio because I knew it was just the best thing for me. Otherwise, I'd end up, bad. It would end up all bad. And then I went to Ohio. My buddy's uncle was a sheriff, and he told him about me, and he wanted to talk to me one day. Say, hey, my uncle wants to talk to you. I'm like, man, I want for what, man? The sheriff? I don't want to talk to the sheriff. And it's a lot smaller than Monterey County. Um, and then because I was from California, because I didn't like, I knew a lot of people there that I had met, but like I'd only come in the summer. But then I moved there. He gave me the opportunity. He wanted me to work for him, working undercover because of just running the streets and doing what I did. So that's how I ended up getting into it. I was a CO. Um, I was felony probation for 6 years, 7 years, and then I worked. And then I was an investigator for the Major Crimes Unit. So wasn't in California. It was in Ohio. I worked for the county in Ohio. Yeah, I know. I get that from a lot of people. Say I look a lot younger than I am. Yeah, but man, I tell you what, these kids, my all this shit's turning white. Got to diet. Yeah, 55. You retired felony. Yep. So no comment. Ohio, in the system in Ohio, which is like 100% different than California. Like, because I've been in California locked up, and Ohio's totally different. It's like night and day. Yeah, their county jail here is like cakewalk. Man, I remember when I was 18 years old, and the first time I got locked up in the county, because I went to juvie, I never went to YA or anything like that, but I was in juvenile hall there, Monterey County, just for a small, it was 30 days. But when I hit 18 years old, it was that Monterey County jail was active, and I went there. I just pulled I was trying to pull records because I don't have all that shit anymore, and a lot of that stuff got purged. But Monterey County Sheriff's Department told me, I called them, and they were like, because I was trying to get all this paperwork, and they sent me over because I thought I was like 5 times. I can't remember. That was back in the '80s, but I was locked up in there 7 times in the Monterey County Jail. Man, I'm telling you what, it was active as shit back then in the '80s. It was off the hook. Oh hell yeah! First time my mom, she sent me to Ohio to my dad because my dad split when I was like 11. He was from Ohio. He was stationed at Fort Ord. I don't know if you remember that in the right by Seaside in Monterey, and that's how they met because he was in the military, and so he bounced when I was like 11. And the first time my mom told me when I was getting in trouble when I was like 14 years old, she was like, "You're going to your dad's for the summer." I said, "I don't want to go to Ohio. There's a bunch of hillbillies and shit like that." I go, "I'm not trying to go to Ohio." And she's like, "You going? Yeah, you got your plane ticket and shit." I was like, "Man, I don't want to go to Ohio." They're different. It's like they're like, I want to say 3 years. Well, now that's not so bad, but back then they were like 3 years behind on everything compared to California, and it was way different. So I get what you're talking about. That's funny. Yep. That you went to Ohio. What part of Ohio do you remember where you went at? It's like here people, they have no clue. Like when you come from California, when I came out here, even just like when I was in the summertime, I'd come to Ohio, and all the girls like thought you're like some type of celebrity. Oh, he's from California. It was crazy. But I was, they're like, why did you come to Ohio for? Oh, yeah, no shit. Yeah, they drive their tractors right down the street. I don't know if you ever saw the Amish people. There's a lot of Amish too that drive the horse and buggies. It's crazy down the street. Yeah, those. Yeah, it was my dad. I mean, the city he lived in was like 40,000, I think 30,000 people, 40,000 people. So it wasn't too bad. But yeah, right outside of town there, it was like everywhere you went, it was country cornfields. It's totally a different way of living. That's for sure. And you're from the Bay Area, so and you're in Fernley. I don't know Fernley's. I always liked Fernley. What the hell did I used to go to? There's a casino right there on 50. Yeah, it is Trip. Yeah, I can't remember that. What is it? Highway? I know it's 50. Highway 50 goes from Fallon to Fernley, and then you get on 80 right there. But I used to go to that on the left hand side. If you were coming from Fallon, there's a casino on the left. Gold something or something like that. I used to go there. Silverado, yeah. I think that might have been it. And it was on the left side there. I think it was a Silverado. I just know that that was the only way, that was the only way you could. Fallon's the last stop on 50, and then there ain't shit. There wasn't shit in Fallon either. Cattle, ranchers, they had casinos, of course, everywhere, which I miss that. I miss the being able to go into the grocery store, the gas station, wherever you're at, slot machines everywhere. And the drinks are free. Drinks are free. You can smoke cigarettes, whatever. It's different. People don't understand that. If you haven't lived there, and the whole time I lived there, I only went to I've only been to Vegas twice. It's crazy. It's a long ass drive too, because you have to go through. Uh, yeah, you know what? I used to go to Dottie's sometimes. I never liked Dottie's at first because it was like small and they have flowers and just like it was real chill and quiet. And then I started going in there and playing, man, and I would be winning. So Western Village was my favorite place. I used to all the time living in Fallon. I would go to Western Village in Sparks, and the rooms were super cheap. So I would get a room for a couple of nights, and then go over there and gamble at Western Village. And then I didn't really care for the Nugget right there. Too big, the bigger you don't win as much, or you don't hit as much. But yeah, I miss it. I got a girl that lives in Fallon right now. That still that place is a trip though. My sister, my son's aunt lives in Fernley. Pioneer, that's it. It was Pioneer because they have a restaurant there where you can get breakfast. Uh, I can't remember what the hell the breakfast was, but yeah, it was the Pioneer because you could get breakfast there. Pretty sure it was the Pioneer. They had a good breakfast and it was cheap. It's like, well, I don't know if it is now, but it was back then. Oh yeah, but I think Western Village has what, like three restaurants in there, three or four. I think three, maybe something like that. I don't know. I used to go to Baldini's too in Sparks. I was watching the other day. You were uh, gambling. I was like, damn man, I want to gamble. It made me want to gamble. Now I gotta drive. Yeah, is the Pioneer the one that has the good breakfast? Like they got this big breakfast. It's real cheap, or it used to be, anyways. It was really good. That's all I remember. It was cheap and it was good. Yeah, it's all about them machines, man. You know how it is. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. That's crazy. Next time I'm out there, I got to go out there probably in about 4 or 5 months. My kid's grandma still lives in Fallon. Actually, both their grandmas. their great grandma and their grandma lives in Fallon. Right there, if you're familiar with Fallon, she lives right there by Maverick, across the street from oh shit, I can't think of that casino. Bonanza, the Bonanza. She lives right across the street there, right next to the Maverick gas station right there. Their great grandma does, and then their grandma lives, I forget where, in Fallon. But yeah, we're gonna go out there and take a trip. It's been a minute. That's so crazy. Ironic how you grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in Salinas, and then you ended up in Fernley. I ended up in Fallon. That's crazy. Can't see shit on my little monitor, so I gotta get close. Yeah, Silverado's the okay. Silverado's the one that they redid. It was closed down for a while, I think. If it's what I'm thinking, across 80, that big casino there, it was closed down when I was there for a while, and then they opened it up, and then there was a Denny's inside there, I believe. Hey, Mike, thanks for tapping in, brother. Thanks, Rascal. Yeah, we're just chit chatting. We're both kind of from the same, or lived in the same. Well, he lives where I in the same area I used to live in, so we were just talking about that. Yeah, thanks, Rascal. Have a good night, man. I appreciate it. Mile high hustle. Denver. How's it going in Denver? My my ex just moved out of Colorado. She lived there for a long time. She lived in outside of Denver. Can't remember the city now. Yeah, it's hard to read too. I appreciate it, man. Stopping by. This isn't my normal setup. Usually, I got I have like a 32-inch monitors in my office. Yeah, that's what I heard. I'm not a PO anymore. No, I used to be. I was. I was a felony PO, and I worked several jobs actually in the law enforcement. I was an investigator for the major crimes unit. I was a felony PO. I was a CO. Uh, and what else did I do? Oh, and I worked patrol and undercover. But I'm retired. I've been retired for a minute, about 8 years now. I just started talking about telling stories. I did a little like series just to see on my channel about the first 48, about one of the homicide cases I worked. But I'm new to it all. That's it, brother. You got to change your life. And see, you know what? What people don't know, they see that badge icon. You know what I mean? And a lot of people like, will comment things like on my videos and stuff, or if I'm in somebody's live, and it's in a negative way. But what they don't realize is subbed up your brother. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, so I was born and raised in Salinas, California, and I got in a lot of trouble. I got locked up. Uh, I wasn't down for. I did 2 years back in '88. I got out in the end of '90. It was a 2 year, and then with county time, and but I was in and out of the county all the time. I think it was like I was just telling earlier, like 7 times. And then I turned my life around. Never in a million years did I think I was going to get in law enforcement, though. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And that's cool, man. And that's it. Like, you got out in '02 and turned your life around. That's what it's about. And so many people, but these youngsters these days, it's different. They're different, you know. And that's why I try to, get some messages out. And I'm working on my channel. It's still new. I've been only this going on 3 months now. I've had my channel, but I knew. I tell you what. I'll tell you a story real quick. I'll make it short. Yeah, you know what? The crazy thing is like, um, I did an interview on Blood on a Razor Wire TV with Chad Marks. I kind of told my story, and that was when I first started my channel. And I was real nervous, and I'd never I get nervous on the camera on my own. I'm just starting to get comfortable now. And I did it, and I told my story. A lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, you must have sealed your record. Oh, you're fake, or there's no way you could have become a cop, dude. You didn't grow up in the '70s and the '80s, dude. It was different. Shit was on paper. They didn't have computers and microfiche or microfilm. It was different, and I just I lucked out. And I'll tell you what changed my life was I had a warrant, and when I went to Soledad, and not Salinas Valley. It was back when it was CTF Soledad, but I got a 2 year sentence. And when I got out, I didn't. Well, I actually didn't get out because I had a warrant in Monterey County that I already knew about. I knew I was going to happen, and so they took me to Monterey County, and it was for a misdemeanor, but it was. Yeah, I'm 55. I was born in '69, and I'm telling you, this guy, they they picked us up in a van and took me back to Monterey County. I didn't get released from Soledad, um, and he was a big dude, tatted up, blasted head to toe, and he was Mexican, and you could tell, he never said a word to me the whole time. Never said a word. We get to the Monterey County Jail, and because he had a warrant too, they booked. He got. He ended up getting. We both got out, but he got OR'd, and I got a stay, a 2 week stay, because I had 108. They gave me 180 jails in the county after that, 180 days. But anyways, if it wasn't for him, I probably would have, because I was born and raised right there, and that was my neighborhood. I would have went right back to the same shit. All my friends I grew up with, the same stuff. One of my best friend, he did 15 years in CDC, and so I just knew I had to get out, but I wasn't planning on leaving. But it wasn't until we were in a holding cell that he started talking to me, and when nobody was around, he started talking to me and telling me, man, this isn't the life for you. And he was a lot older than me. I was, 21. I was 21, I think, when I got out. And he was like a lot older than me. And he'd been in and out, been in YA and prison his whole life. And then he just talked to me. And then I listened for once. Like, when you're a kid, you're a teenager, and you're doing dumb shit, or you're younger, you don't listen to nobody. They tell you, oh, you're gonna end up in prison or dead. Well, you don't listen to them. I didn't listen to nobody either, but I listened to him after, getting locked up and just dealing with all that shit. I listened to him, and ended up, we both got released at the same time. I didn't even have a ride. His old lady picked him up. He gave me a ride. He was super cool, but man, he put a lot of knowledge in my head. And from that point, I said, you know what? I got to get the hell out of here, this town, because it's just all bad. And so my dad lived in Ohio, and I jumped on a Greyhound bus and split. Went and grabbed up some clothes from my buddy's house. That's where all my shit was at. And then I stopped and saw my mom. She was living up north in California. And then that was it, man. That's what changed my life. And I tell people that all the time, like, you could change your life. A lot of these people, but they don't want to leave their neighborhood. They don't want to leave you know, or the people they hung around with. And that was a choice I had to make. And I did. And it saved my life, I think, and changed my life for the better. And I try to help. I'm always like, try to help people all the time, whatever way I can. I got two boys too now. Um, I got 5 kids. My oldest daughter's 30. She just turned 33. And then I've got a 24-year-old daughter. And then I've got a 16-year-old son, a 12-year-old son, and a 5-year-old daughter. So I started all over again. But, I'm trying to teach my sons, because I never had sons. I always had daughters, you know, and keep them out of trouble. I keep them in sports, and they're good kids. They get good grades and do not the shit I did, and that's a good thing. They're good kids. I just wish I would have listened when I was younger, but you know how that goes. So yeah, that's just a little bit about my background. But that's never in a million years I thought, I'd be able to do any of that what I did. But thanks to the 80s, growing, being in the 80s, um, shit just got like my rap sheet through the in the FBI. My shit's still there, of course, but if you go to the Monterey, to the Monterey County Courthouse, it says I don't have any record. No records are found if you look me up. It's the craziest shit. So I just recently I've been trying to get all this shit like straightened out. Like, how is this possible? How is it possible that And but that's ended up how they said that they purged our records, and when they switched from everything that I at my age was on paper, they used to handwrite everything. They didn't have computers, and a lot of stuff they got when they switched over to the computers got lost or fell through the cracks. Like they had to switch everything from microfiche or whatever to or paper, whatever it was on, to computers, and I just lucked out. And so if you check Monterey County, but then when I called them, just recently called them because I was curious about like I was when I did that interview and some other things, I was like I was locked up like 5 times in the county jail. Well, when I was talking to the guy in charge of records at the sheriff's department, because the police department was no help. Like they told me a couple arrests, and they were the ones that always arrested me, Salinas PD. And he told me that they purged their records, like so back then. Hey, you're right. God has a plan for everybody, and that was my plan, and I didn't even know it. I always say that. I think it's on my Facebook page, man. I have that on there. Um, take one day at a time, and God's got a plan for everybody. And I've been blessed, definitely blessed. All the shit that I went through, and you know, that and to have my kids, and you know what I mean. It's just a blessing. And then trying to teach my boys now how to keep them out of trouble, but they're not. They neither one of them get in no trouble. They have gotten fights, because my 12-year-old he's shorter. I've always taught my kids how to fight. Like don't start a fight, but don't let nobody give you no shit either if they don't. But they're good kids. So far I'm lucky. Crossing my fingers. Yeah, I'm going on another platform. Like I did that first interview. Like I said, I was nervous and I didn't. It was kind of a rush. You didn't have a whole lot of time to sit and tell your whole story. But next week, I'm going to New York and doing I'll be on a podcast. It's a big platform, and I don't want to say who it is yet. Just leave it at that because I don't want to, you know, I don't know if they want me to say anything. I don't want to say anything, but anyways, it's a big platform, and I'll have a good 2 hours to tell my whole story from beginning to end, or beginning till now, just like I pretty much told you. Uh, but anybody listening, anybody watching, yeah, I think it's gonna be great. Get my story out because the first interview was, again, it was kind of rushed. I was nervous. I did what I mean, I told to the best of my knowledge my story, but I didn't get to get in details, like real details. So I'm looking forward to it. I had to put it off. It would have been a month last month, but my son got COVID and my other son got it. Then I ended up getting it, and then I ended up having to reschedule. So looking forward to it. looking forward to it. But yeah, people see the badge icon, and I did that for a reason. I mean, like I've said it in some of my videos. It's like people that, if I was a real cop or a real PO, I'm not going to put a badge icon up there and be going, watching people going to lives, commenting on people's stuff. But people still think you are. It's like, man, are you serious? Like if I was, because like I said, I was an investigator, and so when I was an investigator, we used to get on social media and stuff like that, and of course, you make a whole fake profile. You're not going to put you're a cop. You're going to have some whatever name, and then you're going to, befriend people, and so you can get information. I'm not going to put a badge up there and put probation officer's perspective. I didn't know what my son came up with that name. He's the one that helped me get this channel started. My channel started. He helped me with everything because I had no clue. And then when I didn't want to do it, at first, and then after that, my son was like, he's only 12. He was like, "Dad, you got to do it, man. You got to do it." And then after about a week, I was like, I can't do this no more, man. I'm just not getting any, at that point, any views or anything. And he's like, "You just got to keep doing it, Dad. You just got to keep doing it." He really helped me a lot. I'm very thankful for him. He helped me with like learning how to do thumbnails and videos, and he's in media at school, so he helped me a lot. I'm just gonna keep pushing away though. Gotta stay away from that drama, that's for sure. I like Rascal, man. I came across his channel and started watching him, and he tells it straight. He would be a good investigator, man. I'll tell you that much. Watching when when I came across his channel the first time, I started watching him, and the way he does paperwork and stuff. I was like, he knows his shit, man. He would be a good investigator. Some of the stuff he comes up with, I was like, man, without the tools, that I had available when I was working in law enforcement. Of course, I had access to everybody's everything. But once you're not there no more, you don't have that access. So you got to dig and dig and dig. And the shit that he does and the way he explains it, he explains it to everybody. And I really uh, have much respect for him. Like I said, I'd love to have had him as a partner, man, when I was doing investigations because he's a good dude. Well, guys, I think it's late. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate you, Mike, or Mike Mile High. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Rascal. Appreciate everybody that came in here. I'm gonna shut her down, and you guys all have a good night.